Dwight, Grandison, man. Welcome to Crucial Conversations.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, glad to have you. Glad to have you.
Good to be here.
So, for sure, we've known each other for, let's see, we're going to do some math. That's kind of scary. 20?
90s.
We're just going 90s.
Yeah, let's just say the 90s.
Yeah, 90s. Okay, I like that. Great brother, man. And so I love the opportunity to have you here, unpack your story, and share with the listeners and the viewers a lot of what you've learned in life. I'm excited, man. So let's start with where you from, where'd you grow up?
Okay. Cool.
Tell us about you.
Sure. So originally I was born in New York, so born in Manhattan.
Okay.
When I was born, my parents were already living down here. It's just that they went up there from birth, and then immediately we're here. So I grew up in Decatur.
Yeah.
So
where's Greater?
Yep, Columbia Drive, Snapfinger Road, right off in that area. So grew up in that area. Grew up in a Jamaican household, all black neighborhood. Spent a lot of my life in predominantly white schools, so I was like always jumping around in all of these different cultures and different environments. And I think that led a lot to the way that I speak, the areas that I'm in, the places that I've been to in life, and just the ability to kind of move from environment to environment and still understand the differences and be successful. So it's helped a lot with that. But like I was saying, parents, both parents are Jamaican, so both my mother and my father.
Which part of Jamaica?
So my father is from a fisherman's town called Old Harbor Bay.
Okay.
And my mother is from a place called Veer in Clarendon. So
Clarendon. Okay.
Yeah, so both country kids. So no Kingston. My family's not from Kingston. We're from the country. So yeah, my parents both grew up in poverty. Came here to get an opportunity. My mother came here first in the 60s. Parents got married in 1970. So both me and my brother were born in New York, grew up down here. And as you know, went to Georgia State University. We spent a lot of time together down there. Have a degree in sound engineering. And then didn't really use it much. I used it a little bit when I was in college, played around with it. I had my own recording studio to make a few dollars on the side. But then when I graduated, I ended up getting a job, 9 to 5, and just kind of progressed through there gradually. Started off just answering phones, taking phone calls, and then worked my way up to where I am today.
Okay. So, couple of questions. This is good. What's your favorite meal? Grew up, your family's Jamaican. I assume mom was cooking good island food in the house,
yes,
right? Favorite dish?
So my favorite dish is I'm going to say is oxtail, rice and peas. Okay. Throw some plantain in there.
Of course, you got to.
Yeah.
Got to.
So that's my favorite. However,
what are you washing it down with? What are you drinking it with?
Variety of things. So could be ginger beer.
Okay.
Could be a cola champagne.
There we go.
That's my that's my guilty pleasure right there. I do like a little cola champagne. So.
Okay.
So that's my favorite. But the thing that happened consistently though is that every Saturday my mother made beef soup from scratch.
Okay.
So,
for lunch, for dinner.
Dinner.
Okay.
Yeah, but dinner happened at 3:00, right? That's
Saturday, exactly.
Yes.
She was cooking at 8. Yeah. She was up. Yeah.
Yeah. So always enjoyed that. There was always a large piece of beef that you just kind of stewed up, and the spinners, dumpling, all the vegetables in there. Yeah.
Beautiful, man. So, my family's obviously also from the islands, from Trinidad, and so it's an interesting duality that I feel like you live in or you grow up with.
Yeah.
And to some extent, it's almost like a triple kind of identity because your parents are not from here. 2, you're not necessarily from the home country. but at the same time, you don't necessarily feel like you fully fit in with where you are.
Yep.
Did you experience that growing up?
Absolutely. So it's when I moved here, like when, it was the 70s.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time being like the only Jamaican kid,
Right.
like growing up. Then
All the stereotypes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But then in the 90s, all of a sudden, a lot of Jamaicans started moving here, right? But they were coming from either directly from Jamaica, or they were coming from places like New York, where you had like these bubbles where everybody they
Brooklyn.
knew was Caribbean. So they were like, they spoke with Caribbean accents and everything, like they were born
Exactly.
in Jamaica. And so then all of a sudden, I spent my life feeling like I wasn't really black enough.
Okay.
And then when this happens,
Like Black American enough?
yes,
Or
I wasn't
okay.
I wasn't African American enough, right? So I
Okay.
wasn't.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then this happens, and now all of a sudden I don't feel like I'm not. I feel like I'm not Jamaican enough and so it's like where do I really fit? Yeah. So I absolutely know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So when do you feel like that kind of settled for you? How because that's a part of your identity. It's part of mine. When do you feel like that kind of normalized and you're like, okay, here's who I am? Or even before that, how did that show up as problems for you? Like where did that become problematic for you in your life, do you feel like?
Let me see. Problematic. I would say that the cultural norms, right? For instance, I'll give you an example. On the African American side, I was like close to college before I knew about Juneteenth, right?
Okay.
Because if you think about it happens in the summertime,
Yeah.
right? So we weren't in school,
Right.
so
That's
it's
true. It wasn't being taught.
right.
It's,
It wasn't being taught, and then also it's not like when you're in school and everybody's around, the holidays that happen, you see it and you can ask people like, oh, what's that about? And you can learn about it. It happened in the summertime.
It's true.
You're on vacation.
Yep.
Most of the times I was on my grandparents' farm in Jamaica. So
Yeah.
I'm
No
not hearing
Juneteenth
about that.
down
Right.
south. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's a tradition that I didn't understand or know about till later, till I was a teenager, because I just wasn't around it and my parents didn't know about it. So they didn't know to teach me. And then those same sort of things in terms of, Caribbean, right? Some of the rituals, some of the customs,
Okay.
the make sure you take your shoes off when you go, when you walk into the house. That was a thing in my house, but that wasn't a thing in everybody else's house. But then all of a sudden it was like everywhere you went. And, my wife is Jamaican as well. And she's from the Bronx.
Right.
So very much traditional. So I think that being around that kind of environment where all of a sudden everybody was Caribbean was where I adapted and learned, I'm not this, but I'm not this either, like somewhere in the middle. So I learned to be comfortable with this idea that I'm going to feel a little awkward in all of these spaces. But as I grew up, what I realized is everybody kind of feels that.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. We're gonna come back to that. That's interesting. So you are incredibly musically talented, right? You just slid that in there, did the sound engineering thing, and then just how many instruments do you play?
Okay, so I play the guitar, play drums, play piano, play bass. There are a few I was a percussion major as part of my major in college. So there's a lot of other things like hand drums, vibraphone, different things like that. But they all kind of fall under percussion. So I could list all of them out and say,
List
I
some
play like
categories.
14, 15 instruments. I'm going to say 4.
Okay. 4 strong, 4 impossible.
Yeah.
Okay. Where did that love of music and the desire to create music come from? Because you also did some production as well too, right? So
I think part of that was the awkwardness of trying to figure out who I was young when I was younger. So my brother started playing soccer as soon as he could walk, and he was great. Like everybody knew that. With me, I tried soccer, tried basketball, you know, tried to play the violin. Initially, that didn't work out. I played tennis. I took art classes. My mother was trying to find something, an activity that really took
like a physical activity.
Yeah, and it just nothing was working. When I was about 10 years old, I got a drum set, and then even then, when I got my drum set, I couldn't play that well. And my brother initially just jumped on first time and started playing like he had been taking lessons for years. So his
older brothers,
right?
you know,
Yeah. Something else he's that I suck at that he's great at. So all of the things that I learned over time, you know, later on, 16, 17, started picking up the guitar and piano. I wasn't really good at those things initially, and I just worked really hard, and I wanted to be better. So I just kept trying until I got better. So, but yeah, I don't have any natural abilities that I know that I'm aware of. Okay. I just learned over time, and I tried hard. But in terms of creating music, and I think this is something that I carry, like even in my career now, is that if you talk to a drummer or a piano player or a guitar player, and you talk to them about my skill level and my abilities, they'll be like, yeah, he's okay. I think it's the orchestration and the ability to bring things together and know what sounds work. That's the area where I excel, not in the performance area, just in knowing when a certain sound is going to really impact the listener and really hit you emotionally. That's the thing that I think I'm best at.
Do you feel like you got that? That's a talent. You speak about it, you know, very in such a simple set of terms. And people who are incredibly gifted often make things that are actually really complicated seem really simple. But where do you feel like you got that talent from? Like your mom, your dad, even whether it's the creativity, it may not be the musical genius, but like what the creativity and the desire to create.
The desire to create, I would say that I get a lot of that from my father. So my dad is an electrical engineer by trade, and he probably wouldn't consider himself a creative person. He's very, you know, probably strategic, logical, and that's the way that he sees it. But I also see him as someone who takes complex problems and makes them appear, like you just said, very, very simple. He can take things apart, both physically as well as mentally, like walk things backwards and deconstruct them. And I think that's where I get a lot of my creativity from. But then on top of that, my mother is a seamstress. She has about 6 degrees. She's got a doctorate. Every time there's a get together or something, she was always trying to put together a program for it. And you've been a part of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before.
Oh yeah, some African dance programs and all of it. Yeah, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and that was the ability to develop as a performer as well, because she was always like, okay, well, I'm going to do this, and you're going to play the piano, or you're going to play these hand drums, or you're going to play a guitar solo or something along those lines. There was always an opportunity for me to perform and get more comfortable in situations where, as an introvert, I try to avoid. So.
Okay, got it. So would you say if you describe yourself as an introvert, would you say your brother's the opposite?
Yes, absolutely. My brother is the opposite almost in everything of me. He's an extrovert. He loves being around people. He is, I think, he's the life of the party. So yeah.
Okay. Yep. Good stuff, man. So, all right, you grow up in Decatur, go to Georgia State.
Yep.
And so somewhere along the lines, you meet a beautiful woman and decide, and I think you knew her before then, right?
Yeah.
So tell us the story of how you all met and at what point you decided, like, I want to pursue this individual. Tell us that love story.
How specific do you want to get?
Hey, man,
like,
you know,
look,
hey,
so
cameras rolling. People want to hear it.
So I met The first time I remember the first time I saw her. She doesn't remember the first time she saw
Oh
me.
wow. Okay.
I remember the first time I saw her. It was at Mountain Oaks Clubhouse.
Okay.
In
Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Stone Mountain, right.
Yeah.
We were at my godbrother's birthday party. And I remember seeing her. She walked in and I thought, that's my girlfriend right there. And the reason I thought that was because I didn't have my glasses on. And she looked like
You actually thought she was your girl.
she looked like the girl I was dating at the time. But
good.
that was the first time I saw her. We didn't speak that day. A few months later, I actually ended up going to visiting a church she was going, and her cousin actually
Made the connection
and hooked us up. And we were just friends for maybe like 4 or 5 years. We didn't start dating until we were we were in college.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yep. And you guys got married.
We dated for like 6 years. Got married in 2005, so it'll be 20 years this summer.
Wow.
Yeah.
It'll be this summer, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So you remember the 10th anniversary party?
Yes.
That I threw?
How could we forget?
So let me tell you the story behind that.
Yeah.
So it was
the promposal.
It was the prom theme, right?
Prom theme, not promposal.
Right.
Prom theme. Yes.
So when I was at Georgia State, she was still in high school. Her senior year, she like asked me if I wanted to, do you want to come to the prom with me?
You free?
Like, nah, I don't want to do that because I thought I was grown.
Right.
I'm too old for that. I didn't know at that time that this was the woman that I was going to marry. Oh. So when that 10th anniversary came around, I was just kind of like, I didn't get a chance to take her to the prom then, so I'm gonna throw a prom and take her now. So
that's dope.
Yeah,
I love that. Man, I probably would have put even more thought into my outfit if I would have fully known the whole story. No, that's dope, man. I love that. You guys have 2 kids now.
Yeah. So Kennedy is 14 and Scotty is 11. So Kennedy is the performer. She's the extrovert, and she is a dance. She loves to dance. She actually got accepted to the School of the Arts, and she'll be going there, starting there in the fall. Scotty is kind of he's the creative type. He loves creating comic books, building video games, different things like that. So
yeah, that's good. That's good. So you see a little bit of you in both of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things I heard as you were kind of walking through your story is you spoke about music this way, but you also spoke about like culture, and it seems like something that is a core part of who you are, which is the ability to take these different scenarios and these different influences and kind of pull them together and say, as a producer, here's something I think is missing, or here's something that's needed. You said it wasn't necessarily the individual talent for each individual instrument, but your ability to orchestrate and pull it together.
Yeah.
Similarly, as you think about, just other areas of your life as well too, like you're just able to do that from a cultural perspective. Like, okay, so I'm wondering how that showed up. Like, what do you feel like these different parts of you add to the wholeness of who Dwight is, right? When you think about like your Caribbean, descent, you think about growing up in Decatur, when you think about, like talking about that.
Yeah. So, I feel like I take all of that. I take all of those things with me. And, we talk a lot. We speak a lot now about code switching. And so in one environment, you speak a certain way, or there's certain mannerisms that you have, and sometimes you might feel like that's not acceptable over here. So you might switch a little bit over here. So I guess the thing is that either I'm not doing that, or I'm so used to doing it that I don't realize that I'm doing it anymore. And I'm not sure which one it is. But when I'm at work, when I'm at home, when I'm hanging out with the guys, I feel like I'm the same person, and that has kind of merged all of these things together. But I'm sure that if you were on the outside watching it, there's probably some slight nuance, some nuanced differences there. But it feels I guess it just feels so natural, and I've been jumping in and out of different environments for so long that I don't know. I don't even know that it's happening anymore.
Yeah.
So I know that I'm doing, like, I get what you're saying. I know that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I just don't know when I'm doing it.
Yeah, so it's interesting you say that. Like, I feel like, I know for me that was a struggle growing up, and I remember always feeling odd.
Yeah.
Like, I remember moving from New York and hearing the accents of people here in the South, and trying to understand what they were saying, finna, shouties, all of it, right? Like, I didn't understand,
Right.
and the customs were just different. And I felt like I would wake up and I would live in Trinidad at home, and I would get on a school bus and go to America, and then I would come back, and it was just this back and forth. And I remember that being a little bit of a struggle, like through early years of college, just trying to figure out a sense of identity.
Yeah.
Of, okay, am I from Trinidad? Like, should I listen to nothing but soca and, like, go that route with it?
Yeah.
Or and just eat nothing but curry, chicken, and all that. Or am I American? Like, who am I? Right. But I'm kind of all these things. And I just found it very difficult. And until it all made sense, until I was able to kind of put it together. I did a genealogy search as well, too, and kind of went back and tried to understand it and just connect all the things together. But it seems like for you were able to just kind of naturally flow into these things. And I think even just like your choice of a spouse, was that intentional to choose someone from the same culture as you, or not necessarily?
I don't know. Like, it's difficult to say that, because, like, I dated African American women. I don't know if I felt more comfortable, or if it was just that might be it. It might be that I felt more comfortable, or it could be that that's just kind of the way that it turned out.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, yeah. So I'm trying to think about it. And in high school, I didn't really date any Caribbean women, so it wasn't until I was like in college that actually started. But I don't believe it was intentional. I don't think I went in it saying, what, okay, I'm done with these. I think it's just something that occurred.
Yep.
So,
yeah. I mean, that makes sense, right? And that's how love is. Like, you can't help who you love. You find that person and you decide, okay, like, this is going to be it. But it's interesting because I know, like, in our house, like, when I first met my wife, learning each other, and my wife is from the Midwest, so St. Louis. Yeah. And having those different customs, they have spaghetti feels like for every holiday. I'm like, why is it 4th of July?
Spaghetti at barbecues a thing?
I'm like, I don't understand. Okay. But then she's like, why y'all gotta have a rum cake at the wedding? And why does your one grandma, your one auntie gotta make the rum cake? Because she kills the rum cake. Right. And then when you taste it, you understand why she had to make it. But it was just, just learning each other's customs and holiday traditions was just a challenge. And so we had to work through that, and so, I think that's one of those things it's always understated. It's something that people don't necessarily think about, in life, how culture shapes perspective, shapes how you see the world, whether it's something as simple as taking your shoes off at the door, or even how it shows up at work, how you interact with coworkers, things like that. So, but I just love how you just kind of naturally flowed into things, and it really wasn't a point of tension for you.
Yeah. My parents, though, when I think about it, my parents. So my mother was probably a big part of that. Okay. So, like, we would have meals where it's like jerk chicken with macaroni and cheese, right? So it's just like this mixture of different cultural elements. Yeah. And my father did a lot of traveling for his job. So he would probably spend 3 months out of the year at home. But aside from that, he was in China, the Philippines, Australia, Egypt, all over the place. And what he would always do everywhere he went was he had a bottle of hot sauce in his bag.
Okay. Right? No matter what.
No matter what, there was a bottle of hot sauce in his bag. The reason why is because the food is going to be different everywhere you go. So the thing that he carried with him that was like this is what grounds me.
Right.
So I can put some hot sauce on it, and it'll at least be a remnant of what I want to be tasting right now.
So how would you describe your relationship with your dad?
So it's got its ebbs and flows. So my father was my best friend when I was growing up, when I was a kid. And my parents didn't have the greatest relationship. Alcoholism played a little part in that. And they got divorced when I was in my 20s, but like I knew from the time I was about 7 or 8 years old that this was going to happen. So there was some probably resentment in those middle years. There have been times as an adult where we weren't necessarily speaking. It wasn't like there was beef or anything like that. We just lost touch and weren't speaking to each other for a number of years at one point. But I think we have a really, really good relationship now. A lot of things have changed with him. A lot of things have changed with me. Being a man now, I can not justify everything that I've seen, but understand it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How did you at 7 or 8 kind of already know like this was the end? And then I got a follow up for that. Like, what was it for you that kind of said like, yeah, eventually, because that really isn't common in island households.
The divorce.
Yeah, people just, for better or worse, they just stick it out.
So me and my mother were always very close. Like I always wanted to be very close to my mother, to the point where when she was driving, she had like a Buick Century, and they had like the armrest. I would sit on the armrest.
Oh wow!
Like she was like, it's too dangerous for him to sit in the front seat, but I would sit with my back facing the road on that armrest so that I could be close to my mother.
That's beautiful.
And I spent a lot of nights when my dad was away, like sleeping in the same bed with my mother, probably till I was like 10 or 11 years old. And then even sometimes when he was home, they might be getting into a fight or something. And when I woke up, she was there beside me because that's where she felt safest. So I could feel the tension. I knew that things weren't right. I heard the arguments. So yeah, I knew it wasn't going to last.
Yeah. Were those part of your conversations with your dad in later years to have some discussions about things, or did you stay away from those topics? Or
we haven't had like deep, in-depth discussions about that. It's been more so about what's going on with me currently. Advice. Sometimes he'll, if I'm talking about a place where I am in life, he'll talk about what it was like for him, and my mother in that same space. But nothing like specific in terms of, hey, here's some things we need to reconcile and we need to deal with this right now.
Okay. So it sounds like y'all have a good, father-son relationship where you feel like you're able to go to him for advice and, talk about different things.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. So how do you feel like your experience growing up impacted you now being a father? And like how you wanted to approach fatherhood and how you wanted your kids to feel around, or how you wanted your wife to feel around you.
Let me see. I would say that I always grew up. When I was growing up, I felt like adults and parents specifically knew everything. They never seemed to hesitate. They always seemed to have the answers. They always it always seemed like they knew what they were doing. And then I think, reflecting back on it, you get these glimpses of like, yeah, they didn't know what they were doing. They had no idea. Right. And then being a parent, right? You have these times where you're like, how did my parents know what to do in this situation? Then you realize like they didn't.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just figuring out just the same way we were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember specifically a time where my dad. So we had this back porch, right? It was like a second level back porch, and there was this big oak tree out behind that back porch. It was like 6 feet from the house, and he was like, I want to cut this tree down. He was talking to his friend, and his friend was like, I got a chainsaw right here. We can cut this tree down right now. And so me, my brother, and the guy's son that lived down the street, my friend, were playing basketball outside, and I can see them cutting this tree down, and I can see the tree leaning towards the house, like as they're cutting it down. So I was like, wait, no. Got the earmuffs on, chainsaw, he can't hear it. Finally, he sees them signaling, moves to a different side, and starts cutting the tree down. And it doesn't fall back into our yard. It falls to my neighbor's yard. And this tree is so big that it falls in my neighbor's yard and probably a little bit further past that. Had that tree fallen in our direction, it probably would have landed on that basketball goal, right? That's how big this tree was. And at the time, I didn't realize it. I was like, these two fools had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, I mean, after growing up and being an adult, I approached everything with that same kind of extreme confidence where it's like, adults are supposed to know what to do.
Yeah.
Or I've seen people do things like this, and I should be confident that I could do anything because I've seen people make a way out of no way, or just figure things out as they go. So that was kind of my motivation for my approach to a lot of things. Is like, people have been through worse than this thing that you're complaining about. Yeah. So try it. See what happens. That's been my approach, even at work, where sometimes people are hesitant about things, or in meetings where people are saying, this is the only way to do it. I'm like, you don't know what he's talking about. He's guessing just like I am. So my opinion is just as valid as his, because it's all, we're all just trying to see what happens, and we're giving it our best guess. So I'm going to give it my best guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That you've always had that quiet confidence, that I can see that, man. I appreciate you sharing that story. That makes sense, man. There's a lot of practical principles to that.
Yeah.
So I know in one of our conversations recently, we talked about how your mom is doing. So how was she doing?
It's been a rough few days. So she was diagnosed with breast cancer earlier this year. So she has to go through 6 rounds of chemo. She's gone through 3 already. So we're about halfway there. After the second treatment, she lost her hair. So last time we saw each other, I had a pretty substantial beard. So I just decided, if she's not gonna have any hair, I'm not gonna have any hair. So.
Oh, that's sweet. That's real sweet. Y'all probably look like twins though, because y'all look just alike. How has that been, man? You spoke about how close you and your mom have always been. How is that, managing it through this process, while being a husband and also being a father to kids as well?
Yeah, so it's been difficult to watch. I think that I feel more so for my wife, because she stays at home, but my wife is also, when she was working, she was a hospice nurse. So this is close to the work that she was doing, taking care of people. But it's a strain on her, having to deal with that, and trying to balance everything. So I think that watching both of them, seeing what both of them are going through, sometimes it makes me hesitant to share my feelings on everything, just because I don't want to overshadow anybody else's experience, or make you feel like, oh, what about me? Nobody's thinking about it. So I try to find the outlets where I can to have those discussions, but I don't want to burden anybody else, right?
How is your family kind of surrounded, like your brother your father in this situation have how have they shown up?
They're showing up for me.
Okay.
My everybody. So my family's kind of estranged. So my mother and my father don't really speak. My brother doesn't really speak to my parents either. So I am the only person that kind of keeps in contact with everybody. So while they are supporting me, they're not directly involved with my mother. So
is that a lot of pressure being that the person who's coordinating all of the relationships and all the communication?
It can be at times. But I think that, like I was saying earlier, it's people have been through worse. I try to make sure that I keep mindful of, I stay mindful of how much I'm taking on. But it's got to be done, right?
So I'm with you, right? So like that is, I also feel like that's a huge part of our psyche as descendants of the Caribbean, culture, and I feel like, but sometimes it can be, that could hurt us, right? Because you don't watch out for certain things, and you're trying to be strong for everybody, but you're also feeling like there's not as much space for you to really voice certain things. So what do you do? Where do you go? Who do you talk to try to, because it's got to go somewhere, right? You gotta, what's your outlet?
Couple of things. One, the gym, right? So
like you are, bro. Yep.
Yeah. So I try to make sure that I get a really good workout in 5 days a week, because that is therapeutic for me. That's where I release my stress. And also, between work and home, I tell my wife, like, you want me to stop at the gym before I come home, because I need to release any sort of tension or any of those things that are carrying over from work. I need to disengage before I come home. Also just conversations with, making sure that I have conversations with friends, talk to somebody that has no skin in the game, whether it's a third party, like a friend that's outside the situation, or, therapy if necessary, right?
Yeah. I can totally see that. I believe it to be true, because you, one thing I've always loved about our friendship, man, is that it could be a year and a half. It could be, however long. And all of a sudden I look at my caller ID. It's like, Dwight, we talking for 2 hours, right? Just random. And, or when we were in the same area, like you just pull up, show me, hey, I'm here. I'm outside. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's hang out. And I've always appreciated that. Because, you just, you may not, I think some of the best relationships are the ones that you may not talk to each other each day, or each week or each month, sometimes each year, but it's like you can pick up like nothing's ever, no time has passed. You just kind of keep it moving. But I think it's important, and it's great to hear that you're doing different things and you have different outlets. Because I think a lot of times as men, that's what we do. We take on, we've got all these things going on. You had to support your wife, in years past through a really traumatic situation as well too. Now you've got this. And so like, I just, it's good to hear that you're finding like healthy ways and outcomes to pursue, because it can get the best of us.
Yeah. I remember, when we found out that Christy was pregnant the first time with Kennedy, like I was going to be a father for the first time. And then they're like, no, you can't tell anybody. It's like, what do you mean I can't? What do you mean I can't tell anybody? No, for 3 months.
Oh yeah,
we get you. You can't say anything, right?
12 weeks,
right? So I was like, okay, really, really hard keeping this secret. Like this is different. This is joy, but I want to share this with somebody, right? So one day I was at the gym. Some dude, I don't even know that guy's name, just walked up to me and was like, I'm going to be a father, right? And it felt good just to share that with somebody, and like and there's no there's no recourse, there's no he doesn't know anything, and if anything happens, I never really have to go back and have a conversation and explain anything to him, right? So
Yeah, no, I love that. So my wife and I were talking about that recently. I love going to retreats. So one of the ways that I have my outlets is going to like retreats, whether it's a meditation retreat, spiritual retreat, whatever. But what I love about it is that you get in a room with people full of strangers.
Yeah.
And you all don't know each other. And you have some really deep conversations, share a lot, and obviously it's facilitated and things like that.
Yeah.
And what I love about it, though, is that at the end of it, you see some people who are like, oh, man, this is great, man. Let's exchange numbers. Let's catch up. Here's my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm like, the purpose of this was to me to not know you all and not get in contact. This was not a relationship.
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
so there is a lot of freedom and a lot of reprieve in just being able to just have conversations with complete strangers, share some things that's really going on in your life, beautiful things as well as some hurtful things.
Yeah.
They may have a perspective they don't, but they also don't have, there's less of a filter, right? So they don't have a history and a set of experiences about knowing you that they're going to inject into if you ask them for their opinion as well too.
Yeah. And then also like if you're feeling troubled about something or you're feeling slighted, right? And you just have to say that. You have to let it out because you can't keep it inside.
No.
So if there's resentment between us and I say it to you directly, like there's offense caused, right?
Yeah.
If I share that with somebody that's got that it's not going to come back to you and say, Kurt,
Yeah.
you know, believe what Dwight said about you.
Right.
And I'm not sharing it with you, and I'm just sharing with somebody who is just a third party and is just there to listen.
Yeah.
Now I got it out. That's what I needed to do, and I don't have to worry about any consequences necessarily that come with that.
Yeah. So I got two final questions for you, man. One is, how would you define masculinity? When you think about the age that we're in, a lot's changed since the 90s. What's acceptable, what's not acceptable. There's a phrase now of toxic masculinity. It wasn't a thing growing up. What does masculinity look like? What does it mean to you? And what does it look like? Just interested in your perspective.
Thinking about it, so conflict resolution, and the way that you manage that, the way that you manage your anger, those are the things that I think have changed over time. So when I think about it, I heard a story about my grandfather once. My grandfather was a health inspector in Jamaica, and one time he walked into a bar, and a guy had his feet up on the bar. And he was like, you need to take your feet off the bar.
Yep.
And the guy had some words for him. And my grandfather took that man outside and beat the snot out of him.
Wow. Okay.
And then dusted himself off, pulled out his badge, and was like, I'm here to do a health inspection. Right? Because, that was kind of the example in terms of you hear something you don't like, raise your voice. If that doesn't work, you get physical.
Wow. Okay.
Right. And I saw
That's
a lot
one
of
approach.
that. I saw a lot of that in my father, and like the way that he dealt with his kids, the way that he dealt with his wife, the way that he dealt with the world. What I started to realize over time is that the anger that people feel usually stems from, almost always stems from disappointment. Right. So I am disappointed in you. I'm disappointed by something you did or something I did.
Yes.
And then that comes out. The only way that I know how to deal with that or release that is through anger.
Okay.
So, but I've been doing it for so long that I don't even know that's why I'm doing it. Right. So I loan you $500 and you don't pay it back when you say you're going to pay it back. So now I'm disappointed.
Okay.
Right. So, but here's the thing. I'm not just disappointed in you. I'm disappointed in me because in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't really want to loan Curtis this money.
And then I did.
And I did. And I should have listened to myself. But I'm not punishing myself.
Yeah,
I'm taking that out on you.
Or somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now what I want to do is start when I feel myself getting angry, think about what's driving that. What is making me disappointed? And sometimes it's an expectation that I didn't make clear. So I might have to sit you down and have a conversation and say, when we talked about this thing being complete, this is what I meant by complete.
Okay.
What was your, like, what did you think complete meant in this space? And then you tell me, and then we realize, hey, you and I had a difference in opinion, and we had a difference in what the expectation was. How can we resolve that? Let's agree on what complete means, and then talk about the time frame in which it's going to be complete, and so that we can move on.
Got it.
So I think that figuring out how to resolve conflict without getting violent, without getting angry, for me, that's true masculinity.
Man, I appreciate that definition. I love that, and I know that makes you an excellent leader, just the way you describe that at work as well too, man. So, Dwight, appreciate your time. Appreciate you taking time out your day to tell your story.
Thank you for having me.
And unpack it, man. Love you, brother. And I'm looking forward to all the beautiful things that's coming to your life. Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
You don't look the day older than 29, man. So appreciate it, man.
Cool.
All right.